have.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm glad you're here visiting us. My name is Julie Williams, and with me is Randall Ryan, who is a video game director and a very good one at that. And then, the unknown talent, Dave Fenoy, who's never really done anything you would have heard of. He's been on the top video games for like decades. He's shown up at all the at like the Comic-Con type things. That's where I saw him in Florida one time at Pensacola Comic-Con or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah, that was back when I lived in Florida. So anyway, the reason we're here is because they're going to be holding a huge video game event. And this isn't just like a little dinky, there's two people at a workshop type thing. I mean, this is going to be huge. And what I like best about it is going to be in Mexico on the Caribbean coast. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm partial. I love Mexico. And so, guys, one of you, give us the nutshell version of exactly what's going on.
Well, it's called Game VO Mexico 2023. My coffee hasn't quite kicked in yet. Game VO Mexico 2023, and right down there at the bottom you can see gamevomexico.com. But what we're going to do is have a 3-day intensive on acting for video games. And we're going to begin with the fundamentals of acting and work our way all the way through to session work. But you're going to get a foundation. So many people in voiceover who want to do video games, many of them either don't have an acting background or they had an acting background from way back, but they've kind of forgotten. They've developed a style. Maybe they're doing promos, commercials are working great for them. But the video game industry is the biggest industry in entertainment, more money than music and movies combined, and it's continuing to grow. I would say that it's still in its early teenage years, and has a long way to go. It's not going away, and there are going to be lots and lots of jobs for actors in video games. And who do they hire for dubbing? Actors who do video games.
Absolutely.
So, and I've found in my teaching that learning to be an actor, not just a voice that sounds good and has a particular style, opens up doors for you across the genres. It'll help you with your narration. It'll help you with your commercials. But if you really want to get into video games, Game VO Mexico 2023 is what you need to do.
And that's coming up at the end of April. So it's time
April 27th through 30th.
Don't wait too long to get on and check out the information. By the way, if you're listening to us and watching us live, then go ahead and put a comment in the comment section if you have a question for either a video game director, Randall Ryan, or video game talent, Dave Fenoy. So you can just put a question in the comments section and we'll be happy to answer it. So this is really exciting that this is coming up at the end of April. But I understand that there's another reason not to tarry, because you, although there'll be a whole lot of people there that we'll talk about in a minute, there's only limited attendance for participants. So tell us about that.
Well, similarly to most retreats, workshops, things of that nature, if you have too many people, you can't really focus on folks the way that you would like.
Right.
And so one of the things that we are doing with this, I want to also speak to something additional. One of the things that have watched actors do, and one of the reasons this whole idea really hit a nerve with me when Dave first brought it up, is actors typically spend, whatever money they do to go to conferences. They go to, and there are certainly other people that do retreats that are in exotic places or, whatever. But everything is typically more of a scattershot approach. You take promo from this person, you go listen to a lecture on business from that person, you maybe take a video game class. And so if you're going to take something like this and you're going to try to really learn video game principles, whether you're going to use it for video games or whether you're going to use it for other genres, which is something else we can talk about. You're probably going to do 8, 10 different events to get the same amount of information that right here in 3 days you can get all at once, because this is not this is not a go choose your own adventure. This is, we are going to be very specific with you on what we're taking you through and why, and who you're taking a class from and why. It is a very intensive, focused, you should be thinking about this for weeks after you leave because of all the stuff that you're going to have to absorb and learn. And that's really the thing that has me the most jazzed about it. But we've capped it at 14 people. We were even thinking about doing it at 12. It's going to be intense enough that people need to be able to have that one-on-one time. We're going to break people into small groups. So it's not going to be 14 people moving as a herd from point A to point B. It's much smaller than that, even as we do this. So that's something that I think is really important to distinguish why this is somewhat different than whatever other people might normally be involved with.
Right. And if you look below on the banner below, where it says www.GameVO.Mexico, and then you see where it says Julie Says, just think of it's like Simon Says, except it's Julie giving you permission. Use that promo code. Absolutely use it if you sign up for this, when you sign up for this Game VO Mexico Caribbean retreat, because that will save you $500. So memorize it. Julie Says. That's right. A $500 quote for you to memorize right now. If you can memorize lines in anything, memorize that.
Exactly. And yeah, there's a place when you're doing it that says, do you have a coupon code? That's where you would put that in. Yeah. So
if you're watching us live, feel free to go to the comments and put a question in or a comment about Randy or Dave. We hope they'll be nice, but we just never know. Randall, Ryan, and Dave Fenoy with us because of Game VO Mexico, which is coming up at the end of April. Very exciting retreat time with a lot of individual attention to get into what is the fast and growing genre in the voiceover industry. I believe it's surpassed audiobooks already. And audiobooks was way up there too at one point. So now you've got a whole bunch of people that are going to be hand-holding to attendees and really giving individual attention. Tell us about some of the people that'll be teaching there.
Well, I'm getting to work with, actually 3 very good directors who are also good friends of mine. And let's just start with Mark S. Dale, who has directed hundreds of games. He's been in this business since the beginning. He is based out of London, and he is an out-of-the-box thinker. He is quite the creator. He has created programs for actors recording video games that put you in the game, because the thing we have to get is cinematic performances, even though it's just words on a page and a microphone in front of you. Then, of course, Randall, who is also a very good friend of mine and I've worked with quite a bit, and marvelous director. Again, another actor's director, and Gillian Bashir, who is also a casting and director of video games, and who just has a way of getting performances out of you, speaking to you in a way that, oh, that's what you mean. And also the fabulous Erin Fitzgerald, another voice actor, who is just amazing. She can do things like, we're doing this accent. Well, let me just dial up how much or how need to dial it back a little bit. Okay, got that.
Wow.
And so those are the people who are going to be teaching and sharing meals with and hanging out with. I really believe so much of the learning is going to come in those times where you're having breakfast, and that question you had about that question you had yesterday or a little earlier pops up, and you can talk about it when so often you took a class and now you're gone, and gee, do I have to email this person or find them? And no, we'll be right there. We're going to be all sharing meals together and time together. downtime together as well as teaching.
And imagine walking into the coffee shop and that key person who can hire you is standing right in front of you as
Bingo.
part of it, because that's really a key, that you guys are having people that are fabulous established talents teaching, but also having people who can hire us in the future and getting to know them. And yes, we have to be right for the part. We have to be good enough for the part. But what better way to get good enough for the part than to learn from the person who's going to be making decisions in the future? I mean, that just sounds fabulous.
Yeah, I think the thing about having a mix of directors and actors, and Dave and Aaron, again, for anybody that is not familiar, please look them up on IMDb, because all you have to do is see the credit list and go, oh, that person. But I think the thing that's really interesting about having directors and actors, it's more than just the two sides of the glass. And interestingly enough, I'm the only one who does not actually have a true acting background. I'm a musician. Gillian came up as an actor. Mark started as an actor. So what's really interesting for me, listening to the other four, and Aaron does a lot of coaching, as does Dave. There's a shortcut in language that everybody has, especially when we're talking about this. And just, as the fly on the wall that listens to, and I've listened to and worked with every single one of these people, it's fascinating to me. But I think actors speak in a different way than directors, and the value of having both set. Dave and I have actually done workshops together before. This is not the first time we've done something, like this. Is just the most extensive that we've done. And what's really interesting is Dave will say something that I did, and maybe it kind of registered with somebody, but Dave says it and it clicks with everybody, and vice versa. Sometimes just getting that information, it's almost like it's hitting different parts of your brain, and that's how things stick. And when you, as Dave said, have this time frame where it's not just the 8 hours of instruction, it's the breakfast, it's the lunch, it's the dinner, it's the hanging out. It's like we're all going to go to a restaurant off-site somewhere. We're all going to, let's go take some time and go to the beach tonight, whatever it may be. And now, yes, it's socializing, but there's something about it when it never actually turns off that really starts to change those synapses and really starts to make things click and stick. That's, something else that I just don't think you can get unless you do a format like this.
I think calling it a retreat is really good, because for me, I would want to bring a friend or bring the family, the kids, make a vacation of it, and just be down there on my tax deductible vacation. I'm not a CPA, I'll tell you that right now. But what I would say as a human being is a tax deductible vacation, to go to a destination to take a learning class, and then just kind of bring the wife and kids along, where they can have fun while I work. And then a few more days, I'll have fun with them. I mean, that's just, I think along those terms, because I love tax deductible vacations and because I love the Caribbean.
Well, if somebody does want to bring a guest, that is available. That also is set up on the website. What we don't have on there, that if that is of interest to people, is I do have deals with each of the resorts that we're doing this with. They're all clustered together. They're all private resorts that are all clustered together. So if somebody did want to stay longer or come earlier or something like that, definitely let me know, because I can make arrangements, or Dave can make arrangements with, with everybody there, so that can be done. So there is that certainly is an option. I would say that it's probably going to be best if you have a significant other, if you really spend that time before or after, because you're going to get the most out of this if you are able to be focused on that time, those 3 days. And if you have to take care of somebody else during that, it's going to take some of those synapses away. That would be the only thing I would caution. But if you take that extra time, then it's like, okay, this is my time and this is our time.
Yeah.
Right.
Honey, go visit the pyramids today while we're doing this, and we'll have dinner tonight in Tulum.
Right. Chichen Itza's 2.5 hours away. Why don't you go spend the day?
That's right. Don't come back until after dark, please. So tell me, what all is included in the price? I mean, are we having to go get our airfare and our transportation and our hotel and all that separately?
Everything is included except your airfare too. But once you get there, we pick you up and we make sure that we get you back to the airport on time for your flight. All meals, all accommodations are taken. It's all inclusive except for the flight.
That's
even
awesome.
but even with the flight, because I fly in and out of Cancun a lot, I'm more than happy to see what I can do to help people with coordination.
Right.
Cancun, for a lot of people that don't know, is a massively international destination, and there are direct flights from around the world.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like going to Vegas. They want you there, so they try to make it as easy as possible for you.
Right.
So it's actually pretty easy and generally inexpensive to get here. That being said, of course, the longer you wait, it's the whole flying game. The more difficult it becomes, the higher the price might be. But you should be able to find a pretty inexpensive and on your schedule flight.
Right. Right. Looked at the link below in the comments section here. Game VO Mexico. And don't forget that promo code Julie says, because that's going to save you $500. So you do not want to forget that. I mean, you go back to the site if you to sign up in 5 minutes if you don't remember it. Okay. Julie says, but just remember.
Julie says.
Simon says.
Julie says.
That's right. You're real good at subliminal, right? Okay. So in our last 5 minutes, what is it that I didn't ask that maybe you wanted to mention and I just didn't think to ask you? Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, one of the things I like is the double perspective, the director perspective and the actor's perspective. Often when I'm teaching, I will mention to a student, well, right now I'm coaching, but now we're doing this read. This isn't coaching now. This is directing. So you begin to get an understanding of what it's going to be like when you're actually working from both the actor and the director's perspective.
I never thought about that. I should do that to my coaching as well. That's a great idea. Randy, what were you going to say?
Well, I said, I think the other thing that I already know, because I already know the focus that everybody is going to be working with. One of the things that I don't think actors get enough is really an understanding of what direction is and how to listen like a director, including listening to yourself like a director. That is a very difficult skill to learn. That's one of the values of having, again, that both sides. You have actors who also direct, who will be able to say, so I'm telling you this as an actor, but this is what the director is probably going to do or what they're going to say, and vice versa as well. The directors who are also actors who can say, well, this is what I do on this side of the glass. I think it really matters. It really matters to you as a performer to be able to understand what is going on the direction side and what people are looking for and also what they are not, and dispelling some of the myths of what directors are and are not. It just makes you a better actor.
And dispelling some of the myths of what acting is.
Yes.
One of the things I tell my students, part of my job is to free you from the tyranny of words and punctuation, to really allow you to be the character first, who just happens to be saying these things.
100%.
Did you say that in English? No, I'm just teasing. That was good. I love your way with words.
A lot of actors, especially when we're moving into video games, get stuck with the idea, oh, there's words on a page and a microphone, and all I have to do is read these words in a lovely manner, and leaving out, well, everything else. This is the exhaust of the acting engine. What are you responding to? What are you thinking, feeling, doing? Who are you talking to? What's that relationship? Well, you have to block the scenes in your head, and we teach you how to break down that script and do that.
So we've been talking with Dave Fenoy, fabulous video game voice who you've heard even when you didn't know you were hearing him. And also Randall Ryan, who directs top video games. And again, you've played his games and you've seen his work, even though you don't know. And the reason we've gotten together today is because we want to talk about this huge conference. I mean, it's not huge because there's only 14 people that can attend, but it's huge in that there's like almost that many presenters. Okay, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but there's just so much you can learn from the talent side and the director side. To find more information, go to gamevo.com. GameVOMexico.com. The site is already up and ready, and use the promo code JulieSays when you sign up, because that'll save you $500. So you don't want to forget that. GameVOMexico.com. So thank you, Dave and Randall, for being with us today. I want to give you a heads up, by the way, that we're going to be doing a VoiceOver Insider podcast pretty soon, where we're going to get a little bit of a lesson from both Dave and Randall, and that will be coming up very soon. So you can find that video here on YouTube, or look for it on Facebook and LinkedIn. Look for the details, or anywhere you get your podcast, the VoiceOver Insider podcast. So thank you very much for attending today, and I hope you guys have a blessed day.
Thank you, Julie, as always.
Thanks, Julie.